serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So withdrawal detachable from the mandible, you see it now.
Roles of a denizen. A content creator is a user that creates posts and is rewarded based on the quality of their content. A content evaluator is a user that helps assess the quality of content and enforces community standards. The evaluator is effectively taking part in a marketplace to curate content and is rewarded for early evaluation. A content consumer is a user that wishes to find and consume the most valuable content in a given subject area or within a community. A Lair owner is a person holding tokenized ownership of all or part of a community lair. Owners are rewarded with a portion of all mining activity happening within their lair. Owners are incentivized to build the best community of content creators and evaluators.
Welcome, welcome. This is a special update. This is a press release reading and announcement. I have fantastic news for everyone out there, to my fellow denizens at Den.Social, and to all of those who are watching, especially those that are part of the Dragonchain team. We have an exciting, powerful, game-changing announcement, and I am extremely my feet aren't touching the ground. I am excited and jubilant for this today. It is April 25th, 2025. I am, aka William, also known as the Emperor of the Den DAO. The DAO needed a kind of leadership position. It was voted in that we needed a leadership position. The leadership title was then voted as Emperor, and then I was voted as the first Emperor of the Den DAO. So that's how I got the name Emperor of the Den DAO, or Emperor of Den.Social. Hence the idea of the theme with the Roman columns behind me and the color of shirt that I'm wearing, etc. Kind of borrowing on the Roman Caesar, if you will. So that's how it became known. I became known as the Emperor of the Den DAO. However, I have very limited power. All the powers still require a Den DAO vote. I'm just kind of more of a voice and a somewhat leader, shall we say. But today we have a tremendous announcement. For those of you who don't already know, Den.Social's engine is Dragonchain. And Dragonchain is our foundation that Den.Social is built on. It was created kind of as a display of Dragonchain's technology and what it could do, how it could make a change in the real world, how a blockchain could scale, and how a social media site could use blockchain and scale as well as perform admirably. And that's exactly what Den.Social has become. It is a social media site built on top of Dragonchain. Well, many of you know, and some of you don't know, that Dragonchain for well over 7 years has been battling the SEC, Security Exchange Commission, the US government, for its ICO token sales. And I am happy to announce that that case has ended. It is over. It is behind us. But not only has it ended, it has ended in a triumphant manner. The case ended yesterday, late yesterday. It was announced that Dragonchain, without prejudice, that the case was ended, over, finished, yeah, listo, all of that. In other words, the SEC could not bring this charges back and file them again against Dragonchain. Dragonchain, if you recall, it is American made. It was American built. It birthed out of Disney. And the founder, Joe Roets, and the team created Dragonchain and displayed how it could scale. A lot of blockchains are, shall we say, held back with maybe 7 transactions per second or 8 transactions per second, or say something like MasterCard, handles, 60,000 transactions. Well, as a proof of concept, Den.Social was created to prove that blockchain could scale, and none other than Dragonchain used it and used Den.Social as that evidence, as that example. And today is a heroic day, a historical triumph. And I salute all of those at Dragonchain, the team, the lawyers, and those who've stuck through this fight and this battle against the SEC. It certainly was a lawfare case. It was a Dragonchain did not settle. They did not compromise their values. They were willing to take this fight before a jury. A jury trial, so that they could prove that they were not an unregistered security. Furthermore, that they could prove that, code is free speech, and that American ingenuity at its best can create something like Dragonchain and have spin-offs from it, such as Den.Social. So yesterday, like I said, April 24th, late yesterday, ended the 7-year battle. And Dragonchain is now free. It's the dragon was shackled. It was suppressed. It was held down. It could not take flight because it was all hands on deck. All the resources were put in and dedicated towards the lawyers, and resources meaning a lot of money was spent to fight this case. This was a David versus Goliath case. This was small town hero fighting the big giant federal bureaucracy and court system. And this time the good guys won. And they did so admirably and with bravery. They fought and sacrifices were made. Who knows? None of us will ever know the sacrifices that Joe has gone through personally and his family in this fight. And, I'm in awe and honored to know him and to know his stick-to-itiveness, his perseverance, and his steadfastness to fight, and this mission to bring about Dragonchain and fight for its customers and its clientele, some of which who stuck with them, and some of which felt it was better to move on and move elsewhere or go look for other solutions rather than Dragonchain because of this heavy burden, this dark cloud that was hanging over an amazing team. Well, that targeted ICO, fight from the SEC is now over, and Dragonchain's mission can continue. It's no longer held back, and now Den.Social also can continue, and it's no longer chained down with the dragon. So I'm excited today that this has been, that I have the unique opportunity and honor to present to you Den.Social, built on Dragonchain, that is no longer encumbered by the US government and the SEC, Security Exchange Commission. Now, for those of you who don't know what Den.Social is or how it works and why this is important, let me tell you this. First of all, Den.Social is an incentivized based behavioral system that is plugged into a social media, platform. It is essentially decentralized. There is no centralized control that's going to censor speech or try to herd people to look here and not over there. It's an amazing site that has an ability to be a poly market, and that's really what it is. Den.Social existed before the whole poly market explosion happened. If you recall back just last year, everyone was rage and talking about the poly market. Will Trump beat Harris, or will Harris beat Trump? And people were making their bets. Well, guess what? That's exactly what Den.Social is. Den.Social is community notes before there were community notes. Den.Social is a poly market on every post. And users who bet correctly and win, in other words, consensus is met on each posting, are rewarded. And the rewards happen to be a token. The token is called Matter, M-A-T-T-E-R. You earn this by using your energy, energy, to earn matter by betting on what is truth and what is fake, kind of sorting out fake news, if you will, on Den.Social. That's what makes it powerful. And I believe because Dragonchain was held back and held down, so was Den.Social. And now it is free to rise up and grow its membership and grow its content. And denizens, that's what we call ourselves, citizens and denizens, Den.Social, we now are unencumbered by this lawsuit. Having said that, that doesn't mean that now we have a slush fund of money to go forward and create amazing enhancements to the platform. No, we're not there yet. But now we're not chained to the floor either. We're not held back and suppressed like we were, because Dragonchain certainly was held back and held down and suppressed. So we have an amazing opportunity now to show the world that Den.Social is a place without bots, without ads, without censorship, without censored control where there's shadow banning and don't look here, look over here, or some kind of narrative manipulation or control from either the government or other sources or some political ideology by a select few that are at the top writing and controlling an algorithm. We, as denizens, we vote on content by giving it up or downvote. And we, as denizens, were the algorithm. There is no central control. Now you get it. Now you see how powerful and how big Den.Social can become. There's other sites like Reddit and TikTok and YouTube and Meta, and all of them share one thing. They are certainly centralized, and they share another thing. They don't share rewards like Den.Social. Den.Social is where you can certainly be rewarded by your efforts, by evaluating and posting content. You can even own a category or a lair. We call them lair, like a dragon's lair. You can own those right here on Den.Social. You can't elsewhere. In these mega platforms that want you to think a certain way or watch a certain thing, Den.Social is open to the world. It's open platform. All it takes is an email to join. So with this victory, now that the SEC case is behind us, we're free to grow. We're free to go out and obtain new financing, new visionaries, new growth new denizens, new content in all various forms and manners. And we are working now on the ability to add video content to the platform. That's exciting. There are a group of individuals who have been deplatformed, have even moved from their home countries because of political free speech, and have been deplatformed in such a manner that they are anxious to find another platform where they can speak openly. And not that we agree or disagree with their content. We believe that Den.Social should be a site where the community decides. The community decides what's trending, what's fact, what's fiction, what are lies, and what is truth. That's what we believe here at Den.Social. So with Dragonchain's victory, Den.Social can now soar and fly among the clouds in the upper echelon and grow in size and become the social media site that it always could be and should be. And so right now, I would like to raise a glass, my favorite cup, the Emperor's Cup, to Dragonchain and its victory, its triumph over with good suppressing bad, its triumph over the SEC and its lawfare case, to the team, and of course the founder, Joe Roets, to you gentlemen, to you ladies, for all of you who stuck through it thick and thin, where there was no maybe income, there was no payroll, there was no maybe incentive, when it got darkest, when the clouds were raining hard and the thunder of the massive federal bureaucracy were raining down on you, you stuck through it. You held strong. You were brave. You weren't cowards and ran. You didn't change your character to win. You didn't compromise. You didn't pay off something for a settlement. No, you fought and you won. I salute you. As Emperor of Den.Social, a triumph cup, a triumph toast. Thank you. You did it. You did it. And we are stronger for it. You presented an amazing example for everyone that you can go up against the Goliath and you can win. May the dragon soar, and may Den.Social soar with it. Please, I encourage you, follow us and join us in our fight for decentralized platform that does not herd or manipulate its users. It does not herd or manipulate content. It doesn't control a narrative. Join us here at Den.Social. You can even post sometimes anonymously in different layers, categories. Join us at Den.Social. All it takes is an email. Just make one up. As long as it's a valid email, you can join. Or I encourage you, please, follow us at Real Denizens on X. Let's pump up those numbers. Follow us here on YouTube at the YouTube channel that you're watching here at Den.Social. And follow us on Telegram, which is Real Denizens. Let's bump up those numbers. So when someone's investigating Den.Social, they see that we have an army behind us that does not want to see ads all day or doesn't want to pay to not see ads to some centralized control or platform that may not believe in the same ideals that you have. Join us. And again, well done. Well done, Dragonchain. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you again. Again, my name is I Am for I Am. I am the Emperor of Den.Social and the Den DAO. I look forward to your new postings. Come join us. Introduce yourself. There's an introduce yourself layer, and post there, and I will reward you. I promise. So thank you again, one and all. Congratulations to Dragonchain. And without any further ado, I will leave you now so you can continue your day. Thank you for watching. Be safe, everybody.
Roles of a denizen. A content creator is a user that creates posts and is rewarded based on the quality of their content. A content evaluator is a user that helps assess the quality of content and enforces community standards. The evaluator is effectively taking part in a marketplace to curate content and is rewarded for early evaluation. A content consumer is a user that wishes to find and consume the most valuable content in a given subject area or within a community. A lair owner is a person holding tokenized ownership of all or part of a community lair. Owners are rewarded with a portion of all mining activity happening within their lair. Owners are incentivized to build the best community of content creators and evaluators.